taxi cab. I thought we were flying.
Precisely.
All right, Doc, what's going on, huh? Where are we? When are we?
We're descending toward Hill Valley, California at 4:29 p.m. on Wednesday, October 21st, 2015.
2015? You mean we're in the future?
Future, Marty? What do you mean? How can we be in the future?
Jennifer, I don't know how to tell you this, but you're in a time machine.
And this is the year 2015?
October 21st, 2015.
God, so like you weren't kidding. Wait, we can actually see our future. Doc, now you said we were married, right? Yeah? Was it a big wedding? Marty, we're going to be able to see our wedding.
Wow.
I'm going to be able to see my wedding dress.
Wow.
God, I wonder where we live. I bet it's a big house with lots of kids and... How many kids?
Doc, what the hell are you doing?
Relax, Marty. It's just a sleep-inducing alpha rhythm generator. She was asking too many questions, and no one should know too much about their future. This way, when she wakes up, she'll think it was all a dream.
Then what did you bring her for?
I had to do something. She saw the time machine. I couldn't just leave her there without information. Don't worry. She's not essential to my plan.
Well, you're the doc, Doc.
Marchy McFly, Marchy McFly. Year 6 of Marchy McFly. Ready or not. Year 6 of Marchy McFly. I'm back, great Scott. It's year 6. 31 straight days for you. In year 6. It's back to the future part 2. Every day. Gonna have a little talk of Marty and Doc. 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 It's day 2 of Marchy McFly, year 6, and I'm here once again. Happy Monday, everybody. It is, in fact, Monday, March 2nd, which means it's day 2 of Marchy McFly 6, which means it's day 2 of talking about Back to the Future, and it means we're talking about minutes 320 to 640 today, where we get some more credits. We get kind of where they are. We find out where they are. We clumsily come up with the first clumsy thing to do for Jennifer, and we see some cool special effects, especially for 1989. Now, yesterday, the first episode of Marchy 6 came out in the morning. And if you kind of put 2 and 2 together, you realize that I actually recorded it on Saturday night. Now, see, these new Marchy rules, it's not where I have to watch the movie every single day. It's just that I have to talk about the movie 31 times, and I have to put out a podcast every single day, and I did that. See, so it still adheres to the rules of the new Marchy era, where we're basically going through the movies 3 minutes or so at a time. So no harm, no foul that I put the episode in. And like I said, I'm going to have to bank some when I'm going away in a few months, in a few weeks. Oh my God, it's only a few weeks. Oh my God. It's coming up so close. I just got out of Florida, and they're bringing me back. They get me back in. I try to get out, but they pull me back in. So you'll say, well, Michael, why didn't you, like, right now I'm doing this podcast at about 8, it's 8:45 right now on Monday night, March 2nd. So whatever time you see it come out or whatever time you listen to it, know that I'm recording this on Monday night, 8:45. And you'll say, well, Michael, why didn't you do it last night? Because I do most of the episodes, even for that day, I do them at night most of the time. Or sometimes I do them before work, but that's usually the times when I can record. Now, last night, I went out. I actually went out with my brother and some friends to go to a concert, a rock and roll concert. We weren't rocking with Dokken, but we were rocking with George Lynch, the guitarist for Dokken, singing some Dokken songs. And it turns out I don't know as many Dokken songs as I thought I did, because most of the songs were for his solo act. But there were a few Dokken songs, and I pretty much knew those. And I thought the other songs were Dokken songs too, but they really weren't. I did not know that. But if you don't know who Dokken is, their probably most famous song is from the Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3 soundtrack, The Dream Warriors, the song Dream Warriors. And they, in fact, did sing that song last night, so I was pleasantly pleased. And you can see that, a little clip of that, over at my TikTok at Geek Mentality Mike. But that's why I had to record on Saturday night. Originally, I thought, okay, I did the theme song Saturday. It was like 10:30, 11. I said, you know what? I'm gonna call it, and I'm gonna find time to record on Sunday. And I said, you know what? Don't do that. Don't do that, Mike. You're in the mood. You're in the Marchy mood. Get right to it. So I did. I recorded everything Saturday, I should say, which allowed the episode to come out Sunday and allowed me to go about my business of going to see some rock and roll. Now, that being said, here we are today, and I could have recorded early in the morning. I could have. I didn't. Instead, I waited till this evening, and this late of this evening, because I took my niece sprained her ankle. She's doing fine, but she had physical therapy, and she's ice skating, she's volleyball, so she needs to get back into action. So, and she already is back into action, but she's started doing PT. So I took her. I was able to take her tonight, but that actually gave me like a nice hour to read, which was very nice. I'm like, oh, can I bring my Kindle? Then I'm cool. I'm fine. Whatever you need to go, whatever you need to do, Uncle is there to help. I couldn't bring my Kindle for the concert. I couldn't record at the concert, but I did say I told her I need to go home now and work on Marchy McFly. She goes, oh my God, that's right. It's Marchy McFly again. Yes. If you've heard years ago, my niece and nephew both appeared for a brief moment of Marchy McFly. And I mentioned to my brother, I showed him the profile photo, my new profile photo, which you could see at Geek Mentality on Blue Sky. He's like, oh, that's right. And I thought to myself, what do you mean that's right? Both of you guys weren't like waiting. You weren't waiting for the end of February thinking, here we go, getting ready to see what Uncle Mike does next. I guess not. But that's okay. That's okay. Someday they'll be able to look back on this with pride and say, look at that. That's my brother, or that's my uncle. And he does a daily podcast about Back to the Future every March. I don't know who they're telling this to, but whoever they're telling it to, they're doing it with a glimmer in their eye, a glimmer of pride. Or, I mean, I guess there's a fine line between pride and shame. I don't know. So on to today's clip of Back to the Future Part 2. We pick up we're still in the credits, exactly where we left off last time. That's how time works. We're still in the credits. Thomas F. Wilson we talked about. Then the next two credits that we see are James Tolkan and Jeffrey Weisen. James Tolkan, of course, is Strickland. He's probably best known for being Strickland in these movies and for being the dude in Top Gun. That's what I mostly know him as. If you go to his IMDb, it shows Back to the Future, Back to the Future 2, Top Gun, and War Games, which I haven't seen War Games in a long time. I'm familiar with it, but it's been decades, I think, since I've seen that movie. And I don't even think I knew he was in it. So I don't associate him with War Games. The next name, which is insane, the next name is Jeffrey Weissman. The fact that is the next name that pops up, it boggles my mind, because who is Jeffrey Weissman in this movie? He is George McFly. And there's going to be plenty of time for me to ramble and rant and rave about the decisions of the George McFly decisions in this movie. But now's not the time. It's just the fact that he is the next credited name is crazy when I think of a name that I don't actually see in this opening credit, because the next three names we see are Casey Zemesco, Billy Zane, and J.J. Cohen. Those are the three guys. Those are 3D Match and Skinhead. They're Biff's, like, cronies. You know who's not listed in the opening credits? Elizabeth Shue. Jennifer herself, Jennifer Parker, not listed in this. Future Jennifer McFly, not listed in the opening credits. What is going on there? That doesn't make any sense to me. She has a bigger role than Jeffrey Weissman. She has a bigger role than James Tolkien. Now, James Tolkien, I can see putting him in there, but bigger role. No, Tolkien does come back in 55. So, no, not a bigger role than James Tolkien. I take that back. Bigger role than Jeffrey Weissman. Bigger role, I think, than Casey Zemesco, Billy Zane, J.J. Cohen. Yeah, they're in it. They're in the alternative 85. They're in the 1955s again. So they're definitely in it, and they should be listed. But so basically what I'm saying is Elizabeth Shue not being listed is crazy to me. And to just quickly go through each of Biff's cronies, Casey Zemesco, best known for Back to the Future 2. It says Stand By Me and Young Guns. But wasn't he also in 3 O'Clock High? And I think we talked about that. 3 O'Clock High. Yes, he was in that. And that's one of the movies that Spielberg produced, right? I mentioned that yesterday, I believe. He's probably more known for Stand By Me, but when I think of Casey Zemesco, 3 O'Clock High is actually the first thing I think of, because that's like the first time I remember seeing him. Then I realized later, he was in Back to the Future. I don't think I made the connection at the time, or even Stand By Me. Not at the time. The first thing I think of is him about to be have the crap beaten out of him by Richard Tyson, I want to say. Yep, Richard Tyson, who, honestly, when I think of Richard Tyson, it's 3 O'Clock High and Something About Mary. That's it. He's probably done a bunch of other things, but we're not here to talk about Richard Tyson. So that's what Casey Zemesco is known for. Billy Zane, I would say, without looking, I'm going to say Titanic, The Phantom, and Back to the Future, and maybe Back to the Future 2. Okay, here we go. Titanic, The Phantom, Dead Calm, and Back to the Future 2 over Back to the Future. I don't know how IMDb chooses these movies. Dead Calm, I get it. I remember it. Okay, it's Dead Calm is with Nicole Kidman and I want to say Sam Neill. Am I correct? Am I right? I am absolutely right, which I don't know if that's good or not. I don't think I've ever actually seen the whole movie. But Billy Zane still working, still acting. But those are the four things he's known for. J.J. Cohen. Now, when I look at this guy, and even when I see his IMDb picture, I don't picture. It doesn't even look like the kid from the show, from the movie. He's best known for, I'm just going to say Back to the Future, Back to the Future 2, and Back to the Future 3. Almost Famous. He played now I feel like if you go back to my original Marchy McFly 2, I'm having the same conversation. I'm going through the same kind of thing. I probably did the same thing. But Back to the Future 2, Almost Famous, and The Principal with Tom Berenger. He played White Zach. Wait, no. Tom Berenger's the substitute. The Principal is James Belushi and Louis Gossett Jr. And also Ray Don Chong. What a cast. Holy shit. And of course, J.J. Cohen. And that's it for actors that are featured in this in the opening credits. Next, we get casting by Mike Fenton, Judy Taylor, and Valerie Masalas. Am I going to go through all these? I might. Mike Fenton. Let's kind of click on the three of them all together and see what they're up to now. Oh, well, Mike Fenton's not up to anything because he passed away in 2020. But he cast for Aliens, Blade Runner, Lost in Space, Back to the Future, and he was also a casting director for Sharknado 2. That was his last one. Well, he was still working. In fact, Sharknado 2 was very anticipated, much anticipated after Sharknado. One of his partners, Valerie Masalas, Total Recall, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Her last casting director role was American Romance. I don't know any of these anymore. But they were there. There's movies. It doesn't say anything about, if she's retired or if she's still kicking. And then Judy Taylor, also Aliens, Inner Space, Sister Act, Back to the Future. Hasn't done any. Again, I don't know if she's still alive. The last thing she did was something called Tiger Cruise, a TV movie from 22 years ago. But hey, their credits, they're getting it. Elizabeth Shue doesn't have a credit. These three do. Associate director Steve Starkey. Oh, I like going to the full IMDb cast and crew because it shows everybody. So if you go into IMDb, it has producers Neil Canton, Bob Gale, then executive producers Kathleen Kennedy, Frank Marshall, Steven Spielberg, then associate producer Steve Starkey. So he's listed there. Steve Starkey, who he's known for Forrest Gump, Contact, Castaway. His last thing was Welcome to Marwen, which was wasn't it Steve Carell making like miniatures from 2018? I don't know if he's still kicking, but he got a credit in Back to the Future too. So did Ken Ralston for visual effects supervisor. Ken, where are you? There you are. Let's click on your IMDb. He was born in 1954. Return of the Jedi, Contact, Forrest Gump. Was it Contact? Robert Zemeckis also. So you can see like directors seem to like to work with specific crew. In Star Wars, what else? Forrest Gump. Yeah. Oh, and then he did a bunch of stuff with Alice in Wonderland, the second Alice in Wonderland, Men in Black, a bunch of other things. I don't know if he's still going. When you see someone hasn't had a credit in 10 years, it could mean two things. That they're retired or that they're, much worse than retired. Still working, haha. So Joanna Johnston, let's see if you're in the opening credits, you're the costume designer, you're getting featured in this episode. Joanna Johnston, she mostly associated with the films of Steven Spielberg and Robert Zemeckis. Well, there you go. I mean, that not a bad team to be part of. She was a costume designer for the Thursday Murder Club from 2025, The Girlfriend miniseries, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. So she stayed with Indiana Jones all the way. Jurassic Park Dominion, Pinocchio. Isn't that the one with Benicio del Toro? No, it's the Tom Hanks one. Ooh, okay. Welcome to Marwen again. So again, you see wait a minute. Welcome to Marwen. Did Robert Zemeckis direct that? He did. Holy gaboly. And that kind of looked like it would be a cute movie, but I don't know. Alan Silvestri. The music, next one is music by Alan Silvestri. The great, this song I came out to when my wife and I got married. We came out to this. It sounded weird when I said I came out to it. This would be music to come out to too. I mean, that's like very, very much fanfare. But no, this is my wife and I walked out to Alan Silvestri's Back to the Future score. Also, I mean, still going. Play Dirty, The Electric State, Pinocchio, The Witches, Predator, Hunting Grounds, Avengers, Endgame. He did the Avengers movies, at least one of them. Ready Player One for Spielberg. Guy, I mean, the fact that he wrote this, he can do anything else for the rest of his life, and I will love him. Edited by Arthur Schmidt and Harry Karamides. Hey, you know what? We only have 3 minutes and 20 seconds. When one of the minutes is mostly credits, I'm going to talk about it. Harry Karamides and Arthur Schmidt, I feel like I'm going to say they're both gone. Why do I remember this? And Harry Karamides, he looks almost corpse-like, but he's maybe still alive. He hasn't done anything since he was an editor on the final season from 2007, The Sandlot 2. Okay, they can't all be, Barely Legal, 2003. All right, so he's made some, interesting movies. Beethoven's Third. Third. Oh, well, I almost said something dirty. And then Arthur Schmidt, he is no longer with us. He passed away in 2023. His last credit was the Chum Scrubber editor. Okay. He also was editor for The Curse of the Black Pearl. That's in 2003. Castaway, What Lies Beneath. I mean, that's also a Robert Zemeckis movie, right? That's like the spooky one. Oh, yes. My wife and I saw that one in the theater. So obviously Zemeckis likes this guy. And probably, as I said, they work with a lot of the same people. Rick Carter, production design. Rick, the cool guy Carter. I made that up. Let's click on him. If you get an opening credit, it's pretty cool. Is he still kicking? He was production designer on The Fabelmans. Oh, did I love The Fabelmans? That is a heartwarming, just a very personal, touching Steven Spielberg movie. Rise of Skywalker, Force Awakens, BFG. The guy's done a lot of Spielberg stuff and Lucasfilm stuff. Very cool. Rick Carter, Dean Cundy. Now, Dean Cundy, there's a name. If you want to hear a name that I think is like basically like Hollywood royalty for the artistic side of things, Dean Cundy is your man. He has done, the last thing he worked on was something called The Magic Shop, The Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, in fact, he was in The Mandalorian, or he played like a little I swear he had a cameo in the movie. But let's go back to Dean Cundy. I'll just look at some of the things he's known for. Jurassic Park, Apollo 13, Escape from New York, Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Yeah, that's just a few. Back to the Future, Back to the Future 2, Back to the Future 3, Project X, speaking of Matthew Broderick, Romancing the Stone, DC Cab, a movie that my brother and I quote to this day, The Thing, Halloween 2, Halloween 3, Halloween. I mean, come on. He's the DP on the first 3 Halloweens. Psycho 2, which I think is better than you would think it would be. Big Trouble in Little China. So he did Romancing the Stone. Did he do Jewel of the Nile? I don't know if he did. He did Roadhouse. He did Big Business. I said Hook. Oh my God, I love Hook. The Flintstones, Casper. I mean, come on, the guys. Krippendorf's Tribe. Who doesn't love that? The Parent Trap, the one with what's her name? What Women Want, the one where Mel Gibson can read women's minds. That doesn't seem weird at all. Jack and Jill, the one where Adam Sandler is both Jack and Jill. The guy's just he's historic. He is historic. Again, Elizabeth Shue doesn't get credit, but Dean Cundy does. Am I going to go through Steven Spielberg, Frank Marshall, and Kathleen Kennedy? They're still in the news to this day. All of them still making relevant in the world of production. Kathleen Kennedy basically just stepped down as the head of Lucasfilm, right? I mean, my goodness gracious. Frank Marshall still he's still on all the Jurassic Park, on all the. I don't know if he does the Lucasfilm stuff, but he did Twisters. I wonder if maybe they're not partners anymore. I don't know. And Spielberg is Spielberg. We already talked about him, right? Bob Gale, Robert Zemeckis, Bob Gale, we talked about them. Neil Canton, there's someone I haven't mentioned this year yet. Neil Canton produced Back to the Future, Back to the Future 2, Get Carter. Okay. I mean, hey, Land of the Dead. Land of the Dead. Is that a... yeah, it is. Is that George Romero's last movie? Look, they're not all winners, but he did do Caddyshack too. So, I mean, come on. And Witches of Eastwick. Robert Zemeckis, we talked about him. I mean, Robert Zemeckis, Jewel of the Nile, Romancing the Stone, Back to the Future, the Polar Express, Castaway, Forrest Gump. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. But that's the credits. Look at that. I was like, how am I going to do today when half the episode is credits? Apparently, I'm just going to talk about credits a lot because we're almost 25 minutes in, and I haven't talked about any acting going on. But then we finally get to it, the big moment, the big reveal where the DeLorean comes through into the future, and they are in the middle of the sky. And I always wondered, like, I thought that when I was watching it now, it seemed like they were flying very far. And how far away is downtown Hill Valley from the Lyon Estates? I looked it up, and I think they said it was like 2 miles. It wasn't there a sign when he had to walk from Back to the Future when he's like, he tries to help those people and like, don't stop, Harry, no, and they drive away, and he has to walk in, and then you doom 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 doom, Mr. Sandman. He sees a sign, so that's how many miles it was. But it seems like they're flying very fast and very far to get to downtown Hill Valley. But this is where we see just some cool 1989 special effects. There seemed to be some sort of like floating, almost like lane markers to tell cars where to drive, and boom, the DeLorean flies in. And by the way, doesn't really seem smart, the fact that Doc took off into the sky not knowing where he's going to land on the other side. Now, he's been to the future. We know that. So we know that he's flown this car. But why would he go into the sky when he knows that there's cars up there? He knows this, and he almost kills them all right away. I mean, it almost was like over before it even started. Start on the ground. We don't have enough road to get up to 88. That's great. But start lower, maybe, or go out in a field like you did in part 3. You knew there was a field. You knew it was safer. So why not do something like that? Like, Doc is a little irresponsible here, but he flies right into oncoming traffic. And I do love where the hell are we? When in the hell are we? We're in Hill Valley, October 21st, 2015, in the future. So in the storyline, they are 30 years into the future. In the actual production line, they are, this came out in 1989. So it is 26 years in the future. But for us in 2026, it's 11 years in the past. And that's still a future that I wish I lived in, the 2015 of Hill Valley. I actually love some of Michael J. Fox's like line readings here. He's like, we're in the future. First he says, when are we? Where are we? When are we? That's good. We're in the future. I love that. And Jennifer's like, the future? What are you talking about? He's like, I don't know how to tell you this, but you're in a time machine. And we're in the future. And I like when she starts romanticizing the idea of, we get to see our wedding and our kids and I get to see all these things. He goes, wow, like it's overwhelming him, the thought of that. I like the way Michael J. Fox does those lines. And then of course Doc comes in with his sleep-inducing alpha rhythm generator. He basically drugs Jennifer because she's getting too talky. Really what it comes down to is she's excited, she's asking lots of questions, and he knocks her out. And Marty's like, then why the hell did we bring her? And that's the question in hand. Why in the hell did they bring her? Well, guess what? They brought her because they weren't planning on doing a sequel. This has been discussed over and over. They weren't planning on doing a sequel. So Jennifer, get in the car. This includes you. It's something about your kids. A very fun ending. Even with Jennifer getting in the car in the first one, she's not like, Marty, what the hell is going on here? What does he mean future? How did that car not like appear in thin air? And just tell me what the hell's going on here, please. And what is this? Why is there DeLorean? Why is he putting trash into a Mr. Fusion? What is a Mr. Fusion? Like, she doesn't say a friggin' thing. And then when they get to the future, she's like, we're in the future? Like, yeah, you were in the future. You got there. Like, it is poorly constructed. Yes, in the first one, again, it seems a little unrealistic that she's not asking more questions or any questions. She's just sitting there. But the whole point was just get them flying away. Jennifer wasn't much of a character. She wasn't a full character. She was just there to be Marty's girlfriend. For better or for worse, that is what her role was. Now they're beefing up the role, and Claudia Wells couldn't come back, so they bring Elizabeth Shue in. I think Claudia Wells had to take care of her mother, if I remember correctly. So they bring Elizabeth Shue in, and it was probably a better actress, I guess. I would think Elizabeth Shue's a really good actress. I don't know Claudia Wells. She was fine in this, but in Back to the Future 1, the original. But she was only in it for a few seconds, smiling, supporting Marty. But now, and you know what? There's nothing in this she couldn't have done, to be honest with you. But it's just the way they handle her completely. You could have brought her, you could have included her. My guess is Bob Gale couldn't think of something. He couldn't think of something, so he's like, well, let's just get her out of the picture. Let's knock her out. Okay, well, what happens if we knock her out? And we're not even there yet. It gets even worse to me. This is bad enough that they do this. The decision that happens next is, to me, the dumbest part of this entire movie, and so much of it hinges on what happens here. So much of what happens next is because of, so much of everything, actually. If you really think about it, the entire problem of this movie that they have to solve, they didn't even know they had to solve it, but they have to solve it, is because of the dumb decision that we're going to be talking about more tomorrow. I'm not going to get there because we're not there yet. But that is, it just bugs me to this day. Don't you love Marchy McFly? The fact that I could be spending this much time on a movie that is 37 years old. And it's like, to me, to still be this into it. I don't know. That's the love. That's the fun part of doing podcasts like this and movies like this. You could dive into things you love and things you that bother you. It's just the passion is there. Basically, what I'm saying is the passion is still there. We're only on day friggin' 2. And he's like, you're the doc. Like, he has no problem. He knocks her out. Basically, yeah. He says she's gonna wake up and think it's all a dream. So now you have to lie to her for the rest of your life too. But he's like, she was asking too many questions. And that's just like, that just seems such a cop-out. And that's, to me, it's just bad script writing. There could have been a better solution. There could have been anything. I don't even but again, it's not even the worst part. We're not there yet though. But he's like, I had to think of something. So again, why did you have to think of something? I know the ending of the first movie, you have to build off that. You had to, but did you? You could have done that, and then 2 months later, oh no, that would have been bad. This is better this way. But you didn't have, I'm overthinking it. You didn't have to rush. That's the problem. But the end of the movie had to be the end of the movie. But there's no reason for you to rush. You have a freaking time machine. You could have been like, Marty, let's go in your house and let me talk to you. Let me give you a plan of what we're going to do. We're going to spend 2 months coming up with the perfect plan, and then we're going to go to 2015. You know why we aren't in a rush? Because we have a friggin' time machine that's 30 years in the future. We have 30 years to plan for this, okay? We could spend another 30 seconds, but again, it doesn't fit into the ending of the movie. You know what? Is the ending of the first movie, as spectacular as it is it the least logical? Huh. I mean, it's the beginning of this movie, so we can still talk about it. Interesting. There was no reason for them to rush. Yeah, putting Jennifer in the car was a bad choice as far as where to go with the story, and the ending was spectacular. But logically, they weren't in a rush. Oh, my goodness gracious. So anyway, they turn off... what does this sign say? I see there's one sign hanging up that says... I think Courthouse Square next, right? So we know they're heading back to the courthouse. But what does this sign say? It says Hyperdrive. Does it say exit 4? Phoenix, Boston, London. So you can really fly someplace pretty fast. It says hyper something. I don't know what, but I can kind of figure it out. It's so basically, I don't know what it's saying. 20, whatever it is, it's really cool. They turn off. And they're in the rainy clouds. I don't know why they're flying in the clouds. It looks really dangerous. But I love where they turn off. And this is just some great early digital and practical effects working together. So the first thing is cool is we see Welcome to Hill Valley, Goldie Wilson Jr., the mayor. Wait a minute. Oh no, Goldie Wilson III does the hover conversions. I'm getting ahead of myself. Goldie Wilson Jr. is the mayor. Obviously, I guess, younger juniors for other politicians get into politics. Let's hope that doesn't go on forever. But what I wanted to point out is the sign here. It says, Welcome to Hill Valley. Now, if you go back to the original Back to the Future, there's a Welcome to Hill Valley right in the square. It says, a nice place to live. Please drive carefully. This says, Welcome to Hill Valley. Mayor Goldie Wilson Jr. is the mayor. They don't have a mayor sign here. In 1985, they do have a sign that says Mayor Goldie Wilson. This says, a nice place to live. Please fly safely. Ejection seats save lives, which I think is kind of funny. They still have the original 1955 had a Lions Club and is it Kiwanis in club? This one has that too. The 2015 also has a 4-H sign. It looks like a Chamber of Commerce, I think, and that might be on both of them. But the 2015 also has Neighborhood Watch. The 1955 has the YMCA. Basically, it's almost the same type of sign, and it looks like everything floats, and maybe there's a solar panel there to keep it powered. I don't know, but they fly right down into downtown Hill Valley, and this shot is pretty great. It shows the now you can see the difference. You can see that this is not quite there. It's a little grayed out, a little just. I don't even know what the word is, but it's a little animated, and you see the DeLorean fly in. It's a great motion of this animated car coming in, and as it goes to land, it shuts the light off, and then the camera cuts, and we see the physical, actual car, the tires turning, and the car landing, and you can definitely see that this is a real, actual car. And it's kind of moving down kind of slow. So everything else was so fluid. And then all of a sudden the last shot is coming down somewhat slow. Not that bad, but you can definitely see where there's some sort of crane or some sort of arm. You can figure out that it's lowering it. And then we get I like the camera pans. It almost feels like one long shot. It's not. There's a cut. The camera pans right over. So you know that they're both actually in this car when it was being lowered. The door opens and there's Doc. And there's Marty, and there's, of course, Jennifer fast asleep. Marty's like, he mentioned something about the weather, and Doc says, wait 5 more seconds. And in that 5 seconds, we see the clip stops. We actually don't see it. It's still raining. It's about to stop, but we don't see it. They've pulled into some alleyway in 2015 Hill Valley, and that's where this segment stops. So what did we get here? We got, mostly credits. Then we got to find out, okay, they made it to 2015. They're in 30 years in the future. The car flies, we know that. And now Jennifer knows they're in the future, except for the fact that she was just too chatty. Too gabby. That woman was talking too much. We better knock her out and not make her part of the story, because that's what Doc does. He uses sleep-inducing alpha rhythm generator. And I didn't write that down. I listened to it, I remembered it, and I think that's correct. And I believe I did a skit back in 2022 where I talked about that being a very troublesome device, the fact that you had something like that, for obvious reasons. But that is the end of today's segment. They knock out Jennifer. They land in the rain. We don't know what's going to happen next, but I know one thing's for sure. I'll be here tomorrow talking about it, and I hope you will be here too. But until then, you can follow me on all the socials at Geek Mentality, except TikTok, which is Geek Mentality Mike. The Facebook page is Fans.Experts. The YouTube channel is Fans.Experts. That's because the website, where you can find all my podcasts, is fansnotexperts.com. And if you just want to go to the Marchy McFly shows, it's fansnotexperts.com/McFly. That will get you to all of the episodes. So we're talking about 31 episodes since 2021, and plus one bonus episode when I went to see the musical with my buddy Eric, who is a former and future guest of Marchy McFly and Geek Mentality as a whole, and he will definitely be part of this upcoming year, because we're only 2 days in and we still have 29 more days to go. But that's it for today. I am done. I will see you tomorrow, my friends. But until then, thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing. And here is my theme song. This is my podcast. I made it. Geek Mentality's what I named it. And I think you should listen and subscribe, 'cause I'm kinda funny and awesome. I think that I'm worth your time, and I'm kinda handsome. My mom says, please listen and please subscribe. At least listen to this episode.
Fans Not Experts.